Hello, spooky friends, and welcome to another episode of Storytime with the Scariest Podcast.
Woo!
I'm Rob Grace. This is Adam Diaz.
Hello.
Today, we have a lineup of homegrown horrors to read to everybody. Adam, tell us what those are.
Homegrown horrors are the stories that you wonderful folks have submitted to us. It can be paranormal, spooky, creepy, spiritual, true crime. We do get those sometimes, which are always really fun, or coincidental, where nothing bad really happened. You were just really scared that something bad was going to happen, and it turns out it was just hilarious. Those are some of our favorite ones, but either way, we love those. We call them homegrown horrors, and if you want to send them to us, Robin, where can folks send them?
So you can send them to us via email, storytime@scariest.com. You can also go to our website, scariest.com, and fill out our contact us page or type in your email there. It sends it to us that way. We have recently gotten a whole bunch via Instagram or Facebook, so that works out too.
Indeed. So if you have a story like that, please send it our way. We would love to hear it. All right. Before we get started with the stories, I do want to address one thing that has happened in the world recently. It's been in the news for those of you who have seen it. It is Tuesday when we're recording this. FYI, you can watch these live, 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Tuesdays, youtube.com/scarish or twitch.tv/scarish podcast. Anyways, the government released officially 3 videos of unidentified flying objects being followed by the United States Air Force. People have been messaging us a little bit more frequently than normal about these videos. Someone said, in fact, did you see aliens have been confirmed? So I just wanted to address that particular comment because it's come through in a bunch of different ways and clear it up really fast, just so you folks know. These videos were already leaked as far back as 2007 and 2017. It's stuff we've actually already seen before. The authenticity of them was always in question because no government official had ever said, hey, yeah, that's actually real. So what happened is that the Pentagon, or the Department of Defense, the Department of Defense officially released the videos that had already leaked over a decade ago. And they said, yes, these videos are real, and they're classified as, quote, unidentified. No one has confirmed aliens, but they have confirmed the videos were real and have been leaked for a very long time. So
technically, unidentified just means they don't know what it is. It's not necessarily aliens.
Exactly.
It's just some technology. They have no idea what it is. So.
It doesn't mean it's necessarily extraterrestrial. It could be just another, I don't know what a good way to put it is, another Air Force from a different part of the planet. You know what I mean? Like some other government. It could just belong to someone who lives here, not necessarily someone who lives somewhere else. So no, aliens have not been confirmed, but those videos have been confirmed as real. So please stop messaging us.
Oh my God.
Not really. I sincerely appreciate when everyone messages because it is exciting. Let's just not jump the gun and start waving our signs around that says take us with you, like that one chick on the top of the building on Independence Day before the building got blowed up. So
Blowed up.
Cool. So that's addressed. Robin, did you want to go first or do you want me to go first?
Why don't you go first since I totally forgot that I need emails.
Right on. So there's 2 short ones, 2 long ones. We both have one of each. And I will start with my short one. The subject is haunted house, ? And it starts out like this. Hello. My name is Joe, and I have a short story that you are welcome to share on the podcast. I found you guys on Spotify, shout out Spotify, and have been listening for about 4 months. Anywho, let's get to the story. I was in my room about a week ago at around 2:30 a.m. Uh-oh, it's getting close to witching hour.
I'm just going to say, we were up way past witching hour last night. And last night, nothing weird happened. But the night before
Holy shit, I forgot about that.
Oh my gosh, it was so weird.
Let's talk about it after the story, because that is definitely something. It's not just a tangent.
Okay.
So it's 2:30 a.m., just laying in bed because I couldn't sleep. I was laying there until I was startled by the sound of footsteps going back and forth in the hallway. My house is really old, so the floors are very creaky and loud. The dumbass I am, I just thought it was my dog and shrugged it off. I don't think that's being a dumbass. I think that's being reasonable.
I think a lot of people do that, though, where it's like, it's just the dog or the cat or whatever.
Or maybe a parent, like getting up to go to the bathroom or something. I was sitting there, I'm just assuming that there's a parent in the house. I was sitting there staring at the ceiling until I heard my fucking door handle start to turn. I knew that none of my family was up because I could hear my parents snoring. So I thought to myself, nope the fuck out of here, in all caps. So I was brave enough to get a large branch I like to call my, quote, beating stick out of my closet.
Sounds hot.
And opened my door ready to swing, only to find nothing. That's the end of the story. I hope it was scary enough to make it on the podcast. I love you guys. Keep on creeping on. P.S. I included a picture of my doggo, Bailey.
Aww.
Your doggo is adorable. thank you for sending that. It's really, really creepy when you hear a noise and you investigate and there's just nothing there.
Yeah, but it makes you think even more so that there was something and it just disappeared.
It's either
or
invisible,
whatnot,
or it's a ghost or demon.
Go.
Or it's an intruder that's hiding. Either way, it's really, really scary. So, glad your beating stick kept you safe and apparently unsummoned whatever demon was haunting your hallway. So, thank you for sending that in, though. So, Robin did mention the fact that we had creepy stuff happen about 2 nights ago. So, do you want to tell them what happened, or do you want me to tell them what happened?
You can tell them what happened.
So, what happened was we were laying in our loft, and we have mentioned before that our loft lights will flicker every now and then. And I don't mean flicker like, it's like they go out and then they turn back on. So it's obviously creepy. And usually
this hasn't happened in ages.
Hasn't happened in a while. We haven't done anything differently to the loft. And when it happens, it's usually like it goes out, it comes back on maybe twice, maybe twice at most. It happened for about an hour straight, where it would go off and on, off and on. There was at one point where instead of it just being like off for a second, then on for a second, it was like flash, 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 flash.
That was terrifying.
That was scary.
It's weird too because it's like fan is off, light is on, fan is on, light is off. It was just
and then all
so
of it's
weird.
off. So it happened. I took videos of it on my phone. One of the first things I did was take out my phone to show like there's the switch, there's the controller for the fan, and then as I'm showing it, the lights are like still going off and on and off and on. So I'll have to post that to our social media. I totally forgot that I took videos of that. But yeah, it was pretty creepy. And I was like, it's so hot in this room. I just want the fucking fan, demons. Can you just give me the fan? And then like it just stopped working for the rest of the night. So I was very disappointed. I wanted just shutting off all the switches so that even if they try to turn it on. That was the other thing I tested. Was I turned everything to the off position. Because it's like, if they can make electricity run through a closed circuit, it is demons. It's not bad wiring, And they were not able to overcome that obstacle I put in their way, but anytime the circuit was open, it's like for whatever reason the fan is just fucked up. It's probably bad wiring, doesn't mean it wasn't kind of creepy.
It was definitely creepy considering it was so late at night.
Yeah, it was around 3 a.m. too.
Yeah,
so it was definitely creepy. But yeah, thank you for sending that first email in, and I'm happy that we didn't interrupt your story with our story.
This next email that I'm about to read is titled Storytime.
Awesome. We know where this goes.
Hi, my name is Fairy Carr, and I have a story about reincarnation that happened to my aunt. And I wanted to tell you guys to maybe share on the podcast if you want. You're here. This is being shared.
Congratulations.
Hello. My aunt had a dog named Pie.
Like P-I-E? Or P-I?
P-I-E.
Right on.
Sounds sweet. Get it? Sweet as pie.
Wow.
But she used to call her a possum. Because of her fur colors, she looked like a possum in some ways.
Oh, so it was like a nickname.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
She had Pie for a while, but she died of old age, unfortunately, about 3 years ago.
That's sad.
My aunt also had a dog named Apple that she had got about a year after she first got Pie. These names are too effing cute. Apple died from cancer about a year ago, but before my aunt found out she had cancer, she was sitting on the porch, and a possum came up and sat on the railing of the porch very close to my aunt. They sat there for about an hour before the possum ran off.
Wow, that's a long time for like a woodland creature to just hang out with you.
But the next day, my aunt took Apple to the vet and found out that she had cancer. She fully believes that the possum was Pie, who had come to warn her or tell her about Apple.
Aw.
That's very precious.
Yeah, it's a sweet story.
It is a sweet story, but it's also very sad. I love animals, and it's always just sad to see someone lose one,
Yeah, it is a sad story, and we talk about that a lot because, not that specifically, but our dogs are getting older, We're finding gray hairs all over our corgi.
Or, like, she's having problems, starting to have problems getting up, and, like, she's just getting real slow.
She can still do everything she used to do, she just doesn't do it as often or as quick, so yeah, stories like that definitely hit home, so it's nice to know that after the fact, the nickname that was given to that dog wound up being the thing that came to almost, like, be a messenger to let you know, like, hey,
or like a comfort or something like that.
Get your other dog checked out so you know what's coming. So that's sad, but thank you for sending it in. There are a lot of pet stories, and I think people are more reluctant to share sad pet stories than a lot of other stories because it is really, really sad. It's something that's like such a big part of people's lives, and you take care of it, and it loves you unconditionally. So thank you for sending that in. All right, so before we move into our next story, we're going to take a quick commercial break. And we're back. So I'm going to move into my next one, the third and second to last of the show. And the subject for this one is Shadow Man.
Shadow Man.
It sounds pretty intense, actually. It says, hey, you guys.
Heya.
Heya, what's up?
Oh, now I have that song in my head. Hey,
I've been listening for a few weeks now, and in parentheses it says, guess what platform? Shout out to Spotify.
I can't believe how many people use Spotify.
Yeah,
really,
Spotify's pretty awesome because you
mean,
can pause it in your car, go inside, and turn it on any other device, and it picks up the progress where you left it off, you know? And that was just such an annoying thing for me when I used iTunes because I'd always be like, all right, I'm at 36 minutes and 52 seconds, and I go inside and find my episode and find the spot. Spotify, you don't have to do that. It just saves. It's like cloud storage, you know? It knows exactly where you're at. So I think that's why people use Spotify.
Yeah, I use Amazon Prime Music because I have Amazon Prime. Not an ad. I just do.
Definitely not an ad since I'm rolling my eyes and making so many faces at that.
I have used Spotify in the past, but I love Spotify Premium, and I just can't bring myself to purchase it, if that makes sense. Like, because, in order
you don't want to pay for it, but you want it?
In order to play the songs that you want to play at any certain time, you have to have Premium, you know? So to me, it's like, but I want to listen to this specific song, and it doesn't work. I don't know.
Interesting. So that's where this person is listening.
Okay, sorry.
Y'all are welcome to share this on the show, but she's drunk. Just try to warn you, it's gonna be long. So for a little backstory, my family from my mom's side has always been sensitive to the paranormal. Pretty much everyone could see ghosts, while others would know something's about to happen before it does, and etc. My mom, me, and sisters are no exception. Growing up, we would see and hear weird things we couldn't explain, no matter how much we would try to debunk it. As scary as the things we would experience could be, sometimes the fact we literally grew up experiencing these things on the reg means we grew used to them, and luckily also meant we were believed when telling about the incidents. Growing up, we moved around a lot. In parentheses, it says money problems, what's new? And no lie, 90% of the places we would stay at were, as some people would call it, haunted. Things moving when no one's touching it, hearing voices, seeing apparitions, etc. My mom always theorized that the fact our family could see and hear these things more than regular people drew the spirits to us. It's kind of like, this is just me speculating, like a light draws bugs to it, you know what I mean? So it's almost like these things know you're sensitive and that's why they go that way. Or like that scene in Ghost where she finally can't actually hear ghosts. And her room where she's telling fortunes is basically like a waiting room for spirits.
Wow.
And she's not putting on the show anymore. She's just calling out names like, is there a Roberto here? So maybe that's what it's like. All right. So we never use the activity as an excuse to move because odds are it'll be the same. Anyways, background done, on to the main story. Eventually, we moved to an apartment complex that my mom's parents also lived in. We lived just a hop, skip, and a jump away from them, so on the weekends, my sister and I would go there while my mom worked. The apartments weren't that big physically since they would try to squish so much into such little space. When you walk in, there'd be the living room, which held a brick fireplace that faced a poor excuse for a dining room, since you can barely even fit a small table in there. To the left was the room my grandparents lived in, which had a small attached bathroom. If you go right, instead of the living room, you had the second bedroom and attached bathroom that my grandpa made into a guest/computer room. Pretty interesting. It sounds just like a lot of the apartments I've lived in, so. Now, despite there being a guest room, my sisters and I never slept in there, not just because there was no bed, but also because we always got very bad vibes in there, sometimes especially at night. So we always slept in the living room, taking turns sleeping on the couch. And even though there was a full bathroom connected to that room, we never ever used it for any reason whatsoever unless forced to, because the other bathroom connected to my grandparents' room was in use. Reason being was because, in parentheses, I don't know for my sisters, I always felt like I was being watched in there.
Nope.
The mirror in there was smack dab right in your face as soon as you entered the bathroom.
Mirrors are terrifying. I think mirrors are absolutely terrifying.
Mirrors set across from each other are what creep me out. I don't think normal mirrors really creep me out because I try and not pay them too much mind because they used to scare me when I was a kid.
Oh.
So I try and not pay too much attention to it anymore.
If I'm in a public restroom and I'm alone, I will not look up at the mirror on my way out. Wash your hands, just run out that fucking door.
I'm glad you at least wash your hands, though. All right. On the opposite wall of the room was a large, wide window that took up 70% of the wall. So when you were in there with the door open, you could see it entirely. Just outside the window was the sidewalk, so every once in a while, when someone passed by, you would see their silhouette through the blinds. It's not a fun thing to see when you're trying to take a shit. Whenever we reluctantly had to use the bathroom, my sisters and I would always have at least one of us in there with them, or at least have the door cracked and talk to each other so we would be less creeped out. When not in use, we always made sure the door was closed. Always.
I think it's cute, though, that you folks are like, just talk to me through the door. I don't want to be scared.
Right.
You know,
if I stop talking, you know it got me.
It's really cute, and I think that's a really precious note.
It continues. When it came time for us to pack up and go home, sometimes I would open the door and stay outside the actual bathroom itself so I could brush my hair. In parentheses, my sister took very long and very hot showers so the mirror would fog up.
No, don't wipe the mirror. Just leave it fogged and
Over
walk
the
out.
years, eventually I noticed that every time I did this without fail, I would see the silhouette of someone tall pass by the window behind me. I never thought anything of it at first because it made total sense for it to be a neighbor or something, but something always felt off about it. At first I shook it off as me being paranoid, but one day I decided to humor the feel, and when I saw the figure pass, I ran to the window and cracked the blinds to see if it was in fact a physical person.
What was it?
Now, the way the sidewalk was angled in relation to the window, I would be able to see them continue walking for a very long time, and there would be nowhere for them to hide. When I looked that day, there was no one passing by. I continued doing that for some time to prove to myself that I wasn't crazy, and without fail, every single time there was no one passing by the window, so where the fuck was it coming from? After that, I completely stopped using that bathroom no matter what. If I had to use that bathroom for any reason whatsoever, I waited for as long as I had to use my grandparents' bathroom. Something told me to keep these experiences to myself for a bit, so I did. Years passed, and I still refused to use that bathroom. One year, my aunt from my mom's side, cousins, and one of my uncles came down to visit and stayed at my grandparents' apartment. It was a weekend, so my sisters and I were there too, so in a total there were 9 of us there. When night came, all of us except my grandparents squeezed into the living room to sleep, and since there was so little room, that meant some of us slept in what was technically the sad excuse for a dining room. Through those years, I always woke up at 3 a.m. on the dot for no reason.
I feel like dining rooms are inherently creepy because they're never used. You know? Like, at least for me. Maybe I was just super privileged, okay?
I had so many rooms, I didn't go into some of them.
But in houses, like when I used to live in Texas, our house had a giant dining room and like a front room. No one ever touched either of those rooms, and it was just creepy. It was always dark. No one ever went in there. Everyone always ate in the kitchen all the time.
I think the only time we ever used our dining room was when we had guests, you know?
Like if it's like Thanksgiving or a party,
exactly,
right?
Yeah.
And we don't have friends. We
I see
don't
what
have
you're
parties.
saying.
But I just think dining rooms to me are inherently creepy because no one ever really uses them.
I know they're creepy. I just think they're a waste of space, and I'd prefer for them to be a lot smaller than they typically are. Okay, so they're all squeezed into this dining room or the living room. No one appears to be sleeping in this creepy bedroom. So, through the years, this is what I already read. Through the years, I always woke up at 3 a.m. on the dot for no reason. Whenever I did, I always had the urge to look into the dining room, and whenever I did, there was nothing there. This night, as always, I woke up at 3 a.m. Whenever my sisters and I slept here, whoever didn't get the couch would sleep next to the fireplace, and we always pressed our backs against it in case we didn't feel safe against it because we didn't feel safe otherwise.
That's weird.
That night, I slept against it, so my eyes open facing the dining room.
No. See, I'm telling you. Dining room, scary.
In that dining room was a table and chairs that barely fit 2 people, and one of the chairs was against the corner of the room. Despite how pitch black the room was, at this time of night in that corner, I saw a silhouette of a very tall man sitting in that corner.
Hashtag called it.
Holding up a newspaper my uncle had gotten that morning. I barely could make out the newspaper, but I could hear the man flipping through it, seemingly reading it. Something in my gut told me this man was dangerous, but I couldn't move or speak no matter how hard I tried, so I just lied there and stared. Eventually, I guess the man felt I was watching him, because he flipped on the newspaper and I felt him staring right at me.
Fuck!
He neatly folded the newspaper and put it back on the table and stood up very slowly. He was so tall his head was hitting the ceiling. He started walking towards me, stepping over my family members as he did. I still couldn't move or speak, and I was terrified of what he was going to do when he got to me, but, in parentheses, and I don't know if I consider it lucky or not, I guess, blacking out right before he got to me. After that, I never saw him or the silhouette outside the window ever again.
He's actually inside you now.
That's fucked up. That's where my head went to, but that's fucked up. It took me a while to tell my family about it because something always felt dangerous about mentioning it. But when eventually I did, I came to find out my whole family had weird experiences or feelings in that apartment, especially in the guest room, but no one ever saw anything or anyone. Okay, that's the whole thing. I know that was a novella length. Go ahead and cut parts of it out for some reason.
No, if
for some reason this does not end up on the show, I have a shit ton of other scary stories from growing up if you ever want to read them. Absolutely we do. Please send them. That was really good. That was really, really creepy. So thank you so much for sending that in. Hopefully you're not possessed by this thing like Robin thinks, and, realistically like I kind of think too, because that was just weird that you blacked out when he got to you.
Right.
And then you never saw him again. Maybe you banished him in some way. Like you cleansed him or cleansed the house. You could be like, this house is clear.
Oh my God. All right. Yeah.
That was really good. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So this next email
final email of the show
has a pretty cute title. It's titled The Cat, the Velcro Shoes, and the Wardrobe.
I think that's like the 4th book in the series, right?
I think that's one of the cutest titles we've had in an email so far. I mean, come on. It's a pun. It's like a little joke on the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Yeah, it's a play on Lion, Witch, and Wardrobe. I gotcha.
Yeah. All right. So, hello, friends. This is Ashley Meow Meow.
Hello. What up, Ashley Meow Meow?
I love your name.
And oh my God, Ashley Meow Meow over there in our stream chat just said, oh my God, oh my God.
I would love to tell you about my experience with sleep paralysis and hope you can read it during the story time. Please excuse my redaction and punctuation. I tried my best. It's cool. We trust you. The first time it happened, I was about 14. I had no idea what sleep paralysis was. Just remember waking up and seeing my big-ass Edward and Bella Twilight poster. This is me. Ashley Meow Meow, Edward and Bella Twilight poster.
Oh, okay.
Ashley
got way
Meow
too
Meow,
excited for me to understand that through fangirling.
Feel free to judge me. Not judging. You're literally me.
She judged you as satisfactory.
Getting ripped to pieces by an invisible demon. Rude. They're just rude. I never saw it, but knew it was a demon, and every time I would close and open my eyes, the sounds of the poster getting ripped were louder and louder. I didn't care much because I knew it was a dream, so I just thought to myself, I don't give a fuck. I'm tired and I want to sleep.
Wow.
Next,
I think if I was a youngling, I would say mood.
Mood?
Because I feel like that a lot of times when I'm like, I understand that noise was creepy, or I think I hear breathing, but I'm just going to go to sleep because I'm fucking tired.
What's funny is now that we're older, at least during this weird quarantine time, this morning, okay, we were still awake until the sun came up. We saw the sun come up. And I'm not that, I don't know, I feel like I'm not that into sleep as much anymore.
You're lying. You're
But I woke up at noon.
You should have seen the nap she took yesterday.
Okay, yes, I did take a huge nap.
Hard yesterday.
But
like a 4-hour nap.
I don't know, but I'm not so much in the I don't give a fuck. If a demon showed up into my room, I wouldn't be like, I'm still going to sleep, you know?
I'll let you fight it because I'm going to keep sleeping.
I believe it. No, you actually wake up if the dog makes any sound.
Yeah, and you're like, go check it out. Like, are you fucking kidding me right now?
So the next morning, my poster was in good condition, so it was a done deal for me. Fast forward several years, and I find myself waking up and feeling movements near my feet, but not been able to move. I felt my blankets moving, and that sent me into panic mode, and I tried to throw a kick while sleeping, and it felt as if I had hit something, which I thought was my cat, named Fatty.
Aww.
Only to have him entering my room 15 minutes later begging for food.
So you kicked something, but it wasn't your cat.
Yes. Oh, that's terrifying. No.
I like that you're experiencing this horrible thing, and 15 minutes later your cat's like, yo, I'm hungry. Cats are the best.
Cats are the best. No, I do not in any way, shape, or form hit my baby. But it was the only rational answer for me at the moment. 2 days later, and still thinking about what I hit, I decided to sleep on my side because I read somewhere that sleep paralysis only happens if you're laying on your back, which totally makes sense to me.
That happens to me, too. That's when I have sleep paralysis.
I tried not to sleep on my back because, one, my mom taught me superstitions where it's like bad to sleep on your back because the demons get in.
Wow.
Two, it's
That's
just
a little weird.
It's just, she always told me, like, say you sleep on your back, it like opens up to the thing. It opens up to the things that want to enter you, you know, so.
Yeah, it does. It's a sex joke.
Fuck you. Okay. Anyway, continuing on. Only to once again wake up not able to move. I was facing my closet, which was open. That's also scary. I can't sleep with the closet open.
It's a lie. We have no closet door.
No,
so we can't even close
if there
our
is a
closet.
closet door, where
it has to be closed.
It has to be closed. It has to be. And there were noises coming from inside. The sound of my hangers moving made me close my eyes.
That's terrifying.
Next time I opened them, the noises changed to plastic bags being moved. I closed my eyes again just to hear a new sound. Velcro getting together and separated several times. And that is not easy to do. It just doesn't happen on accident.
It's true.
It began slowly, but the rhythm kept increasing and it was getting closer and closer to my face. The sound kept going on for another 10 to 15 seconds until I was able to move again, and I looked straight into my closet and there was nothing there. Not even 5 minutes later, the cat once again enters my room and decides to sleep with me.
Aw, it's protecting you.
Precious kitty. When I told a friend what happened, she joked about the situation and said that my cat was hiding in my closet with Velcro shoes in his paws, making noises because he was punishing me for not feeding him enough, which I totally imagine him doing because he is an asshole who loves ham and tuna.
That's hilarious.
But he's more than well fed, hence his name, Fatty.
Maybe he just doesn't like that nickname.
I call our cat Chonky sometimes because she
I would
thick.
say, like, don't say that to her. It's so mean.
When she lays down, though, it's like a huge ass loaf of pumpernickel. She's so thick.
But she can jump so fucking high, so it doesn't even matter that she's getting a little bit thick. It's thick with 2 C's, so it's okay.
Till this day, I rather believe it was my cat with cute Velcro shoes instead of some evil creature manifestation through some lame-ass sleep paralysis. About 7 months ago, while waking up from a nap in my living room, I was in the couch which faces the kitchen, and that night, the light was off. As soon as I wake up, I knew what was happening, so I tried to stay calmer than last time, didn't see nor hear anything, but it felt as if an evil presence was coming from the kitchen towards me. This is weird that would happen in this story, and we just read a story about the guy with the being from the dining room that came at him.
Basements, attics, kitchens, and dining rooms are all not safe. And
I called the dining room, though.
And bathrooms and bedrooms. You did totally call the dining room.
I don't know how or why, but instantly knew it was evil and was going to hurt me. I tried to kick to fully wake myself up, and this worked about 10 seconds later, but my leg was hurting so much as if I had actually been kicking my couch or something. That is crazy. March 24th, 2020, at around 1:04 a.m., once again, my couch facing the kitchen, though it was only a dream in which there were footsteps walking from the front door to my couch getting closer to me. But the last set of footsteps were not regular ones. They sounded very much like hooves.
That's fucked up.
And were accompanied by the feeling of something hovering over me directly face to face. I would not open my eyes. I've said on this podcast multiple times, if I wake up from a horror dream, like a nightmare, I am not opening my eyes because that thing is right there waiting for me, Nope, not happening.
I'm opening my eyes. I'm not
insane.
locked in there with it. It's locked in there with me.
What line is that from? What movie is that line from?
I'm pretty sure it's from Watchmen. I don't know if it's been in a movie before that. I'm sure it has.
Okay.
Been. It's just the mindset you have to put yourself in. I'm the demon's demon. That's right.
Dumb Ashley thought, well,
not really. Please, God, don't
geez.
possess me. I'm not going to invite that shit. I'm going to touch my protection from evil charm really fast. Go ahead, keep going.
Dumb Ashley thought, well, I'm dreaming. I'm just going to wake up. Wait, why am I not waking up? I couldn't move my arms, couldn't scream, and couldn't open my eyes, so the kicking method was the only thing left. It worked, but instead of my legs moving, my eyes opened. There was nothing around me, and everything was looking normal. Still no movement in my body. The hooves begun to move again, this time from my side, walking to the kitchen to the rhythm of the clock ticking. The second the sound stopped, I was able to fully move again. Now I can say I'm afraid. I still don't know if at any moment I kicked something or it was just the response my brain wanted me to feel for my actions. I need it to be imagination. Otherwise, whatever is looking for me is getting closer and closer. That is fucking terrifying.
Yeah, that is scary.
Anyway, thank you guys so much. Love y'all. Wash your hands, drink water, stay safe, everyone. P.S. If the demon only wants the Twilight poster, it'll be really disappointed after knowing I threw it out a long time ago. Maybe It was just like Edward and Bella trash, I don't know.
It's like, hacky writing, die.
I still like that movie.
He watches it all the fucking
I
time.
just watched it like
How
last
you liking
month.
the rain, girl? I hate the
you
fucking
know
fact
so
that
many
I know
lines
that
from that
stupid
movie.
Line. That
What other
movie.
lines do you know?
No, I'm not doing this.
But
I'm
what?
not playing this game
Come
with
on.
you. No, I'm
Come
not doing
on.
it. I gave you my one.
For me?
That's all I'm willing to
Not
admit.
even one?
Vampire. Fucking movie sucks.
Okay.
All I'm saying.
Thank you so much,
annoying.
Ashley Meow Meow, for sending us
That
your
was a
email.
great
It was
story.
a great story. Please send us any more that you possibly have, because it was really well written. I mean,
Thank you for joining us live so you could
Yeah.
have the enjoyment of watching us read that and have our legitimate reactions to it, because it's always very fun when that happens. So before we move into the end of the show, I have a bonus email that actually should have been read about a month ago. And I'm going to go ahead and toss into this episode, and it starts out like this. The subject is, I don't know because it was sent to us on Facebook. Starts out like this.
Fuck.
Howdy, Robin and Adam.
howdy.
What up? It's Christian, or Major Wolf from YouTube. I haven't been on the stream recently because of an incident that happened within the family, and cops were involved. I can't go into details, but when this blows over, I'll be back. I will say they are back.
Yes, so welcome
They're in
back.
the chat right now. So I'm glad that it's blown over. I've had lots of incidents with my family and cops involved, so shit happens.
I have not.
Good for you. Everyone's so happy for you, Robin. Seriously, the beginning of my sophomore year was a fucking nightmare because my fucking brother was all over the newspapers. It was a nightmare.
What?
Yeah. Anyway, that's what it says here because they knew we were going to tangent.
Okay.
Anyway, I have two stories. One from my dad, who is a skeptic but doesn't think that there cannot be ghosts because of this account, and the other one is recent from me. Let's get going. So when my dad was young, I don't know the specific age, my dad was playing with some toys at his grandma's house, and he was away from his mom and grandmother when he looked at the door and saw a woman. He didn't think much of it and turned his head, and when he looked back, she was gone. So he got up and went to his mom, my grandmother, and asked, "Who is that lady that looked at me?" And my great-grandma, his grandma, said that, quote, "No one else is here. Your dad is in Vietnam, and your grandfather is at the store."
What?
So he goes back to playing, and later when his mom and grandparents were looking at old pictures, my dad pointed at a picture and said, "That's the lady I saw." She said, "Hi, Rosie." Rosie or Rose is my great-grandma's name, and my dad had no way to know that my grandma Rose's mom called her Rosie. That's pretty fucking...
That's
like
really
sweet
cool.
and also terrifying, so... Okay, sorry it's so long, and I know y'all are going to say it's fine, though. It is fine. Don't
It is
worry about
fine.
it. Now it's my story. Recently, I've been watching a lot of paranormal movies or shows. So one night,
Mood.
at around, I fucking hate you, 11 p.m., I was watching a paranormal investigation / movie about a possession in France after a group of kids play the Ouija board and mock it. Don't
Why do people do that?
I don't understand why anyone would do that. Anyway,
I mean, technically, we mock it all the
we
time.
don't mock it. We say don't use it. There's a difference.
It's just bad juju.
Anyway, so I'm going to say this now, so remember it. My window was closed, so no wind or bugs could get in. I had my fan turned to the low setting, and I cleaned earlier that day, so no dust was remaining. So every time it is either 3 a.m. in the movie, or the possessed kid in the movie does something freaky, I always saw a light anomaly appear next to my closet, and I watched it fly over my side table light and fly or hover over my head and disappear. Every time that happened, my eyesight went blurry when it vanished. I believe a spirit was trying to control me, but when my sight went blurry, I said the Lord's Prayer and it would go away.
That's nice.
That is nice. Any advice? Anyway, shout out to Spotify for playing your podcast, and hopefully you can come to Denton to see the Goatman's Bridge. Keep on creeping on from Dallas, Texas. Also, thanks, Spooky Mom. Bye.
I got into UNT in Denton.
I will say this. The Lord's Prayer is a pretty good way to go. If it seems to be working, stick with it. I'd never... you know what? Like, my personal religious views are my own. I will never mock someone else's.
Okay.
Being someone who is agnostic, I do have
I think
the
I have
cross.
a cream for that.
I fucking hate you for quoting Hot Fuzz all the time, and I also love you dearly. But I have the cross from my grandfather's casket that they had when they had his wake.
You
that I was
do?
given. I actually gave it to my brother.
Oh, got it. Okay.
To
I was going to
use,
say,
but
like, I've never seen it.
I used to have really, really bad night terrors and nightmares, and just really creepy feelings all the time. And honestly, when I started hanging that on my wall, after that, I didn't feel it recede right away. I felt like, and this is just me speaking, I felt like there was like kind of like a bubble around me. Like, imagine like just a shield, like in like Halo 3. And there's still awful things going on around you, trying to get at you, but there's something holding it back. And I think at some point, they just realized, like, they're not going to get through, and they just moved on. And that's why I gave it to my brother, because he was having a very difficult time at one point.
It was like, you need this more than I do.
I was like, you need this more than I do, so I gave it to him. I don't know where it is anymore, but there's certain things that we kind of attach to. So if the Lord's Prayer is your thing, I would say use it and depend on that, and there's nothing wrong with that.
No, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean,
is my advice.
I know I come from a different religious background. I mean, I went to Catholic school, but I grew up in a Buddhist household, and it's a completely different prayer, but there is one that my parents just taught. It's kind of in the same vein, where it's the one you go to when weird things happen, and you repeat it and repeat it over and over again in hopes that whatever it is that is coming after you goes away. So I totally know where you're coming from in that aspect, and what works for you, it works for you. You know what I mean?
Use it. That's all I'm saying. What you believe in, if you feel like it's repelling evil, there's no reason not to put your faith in that. So that is my advice, and thank you for sending in your email. Also, thank you for being in the chat right now to watch. And I see that they redeemed and asked a question like, are you reading my email tonight? Yes, we are.
We are. This is it. Hello. Velkommen.
Right on. So thank you to everyone who sent in their stories. We sincerely appreciate you reaching out to us and trusting us with your stories to read to the audience. It means a lot. And if you have a story you would like to send in, you can email storytime@scarish.com or go to our website, scarish.com, and click on Contact Us. If you fill out that form, it does come directly to us. If you have any social medias you would like to reach out to us on, we have Facebook, which is facebook.com/scarishpodcast. You can message us there or join the Spooky Friends. It's a group that we have on Facebook, and you can post your story there for some instant feedback. You can also tweet at us at ScarishPod on Twitter, or you can go to Instagram and message us at ScarishPodcast. Whichever way you decide to share it with us, it really means a lot. Robin, for those folks who would like to donate to us monetarily, how can they do so?
If you folks want to donate to us and keep the podcast going, you can go to patreon.com/scarishpodcast. Those are monthly donations. There's a whole bunch of different tiers on there. Tiers start at $1. And if you become a patron, you get ad-free episodes. How great is that? Ad-free. It's great.
You also get a discount code.
Yeah, right now there's a discount code going on. For 15% off of the Etsy store, which stacks on top of free shipping right now. So I have free shipping at the Etsy store until the end of May. That discount code stacks on top, so you can get 15% off and free shipping. What? It's absolutely great. Go ahead and do that. I mean, you could get that for $1. How fucking cool is that? So go patreon.com/scarishpodcast. You can also do one-time donations if you prefer. Coffee, ko-fi.com/scarishpodcast. Those donations, all of them, help us upgrade our studio setup. We get to pick up these new mics that we have, and we've upgraded the camera. If you guys have been with us since the beginning, you know that the camera has definitely been upgraded.
It's no longer a GoPro.
It's no longer a GoPro.
To a tripod.
So thank you so much, everybody who's donated and helped us get this far. You guys are absolutely awesome, and we're so thankful.
Yeah, thank you to everyone who watches. Thank you to everyone who listens. You guys mean the world to us, and I think that is just about everything we have for Storytime number 115. So, Robin, 116. Go ahead and sign us out.
Keep on creeping on, and we will talk to you guys later.
Bye-bye.